Is Oscar and Canelo serious about fighting Triple G in September? Should he win this fight? Do you think it happens?
For some reason, I'm hearing Lemieux. I just, people talk and there's all kinds. This guy talks over there. Maybe I'm hearing him talk. I don't know. But I'm hearing Lemieux and then Triple G. So who knows? Lemieux, hey, Lemieux is no walk in the park. That guy can punch. He's a certain level only. I get it. But he can punch. So, but I wouldn't be shocked if next year you'd see that fight, because it's finally getting to be time in a way where it's been cultivated to it's been marinated, cultivated, cooked up to be about as big as it's going to get now, especially coming off this fight. It's starting to get the attention of people out there. Triple G, as good as he is, a lot of people don't know who he is. Really, let's be honest, and outside the real boxing fans. Now he's gotten obviously his brand has gotten more known. His visibility is bigger now. Of course, Canelo, the great Latin fan base, he's the biggest pay-per-view guy in the business now that Mayweather and Pacquiao are gone. So I think that it happened because of two things. One, it's time where they can maximize the money. It's always about the money, right? It's time to push your chips up. And the other reason is, I think that Golden Boy finally feels that this guy is vulnerable. That at 34 years of age, when you saw him against Kell Brook, that maybe that wasn't just a mistake. Maybe that just showed you how vulnerable and how overrated he is. And I'm not knocking him. But I'm just saying, in certain areas, that he don't rip open his shirt and Superman there. There's no Superman, and that you can hit him. Yeah, he's tough. Yeah, he's strong. Well, you're supposed to be tough when you're in the ring. That's what fighters are. So now I think they're looking and saying, hey, that Kell Brook, we weren't sure if it really showed us something because we thought he was sick. We thought this. Well, and then you look at Jacobs and you say, wait a minute. These two guys exposed him, where we don't have to be as afraid of him as we were before. And he's starting to slide a little bit. He's 34 years old. Maybe another year, he's 35. Maybe it's time. Maybe it's time to step in there. And I think in the past, the saying, and I think it was an appropriate saying for Golden Boy, that you don't go kill the goose that lays the golden eggs. Canelo's that goose. You don't throw him in there because you don't have to, because you could make money fighting anybody. Maybe you could even fight the guy that threw us out of here. You might even get paid. You might even get paid fighting him. I don't know, but Canelo has got such a great fan base behind him, that with the great Latino fan base, that you could fight almost anyone, you're going to get paid pretty damn good. So they didn't want to blow that. Now, I think it's what I just said. Now I think it's at the point where they're saying, now the risk isn't that high. It's not as high. Now it's come closer. Both fighters have come closer together now, where, you know what? I think we could beat this guy. We're not just putting our chips up and saying, hey, cash me out. I think we could actually win this fight. And another year only bodes even better. Because if he is sliding, Triple G, and I think he is, and again, I'm not afraid. I like him. I think he's great. But, when I wrote on ESPN.com that he didn't belong on my top 10 pound for pound, people were like, they thought I insulted their mothers. They were like, oh, my God. How else did he say that? Well, it's just my opinion, but I put it with facts. I don't just say it. For me, a top 10 guy isn't just a tough guy, isn't just a strong guy. It's more than that. Top 10 guy is a Lomachenko. It's a Crawford. It's a guy who mixes talent with technique and with mental ability and with adjustability and is continuing to get better. To me, I didn't see any improvement in the last couple of years in Triple G. Now, I don't think Canelo's Godzilla, but I kept him on that list because I see him improving. And also I look at the body of work. I look, okay, this monster that we call Triple G, we don't even call him by his name, so he must be a monster. Must be a monster. We don't. So this monster, I looked at it when they asked me about this. I looked at it and I said, wait a minute. He beat all 35, 36-year-old European junior middleweights for the most part to get his resume up to this record. who do I'm not saying he didn't beat nobody, but do those guys sound, as scary as that noise back there sounds? That noise sounds scary, but those guys don't sound real scary to me. So his body of work, I looked at it and said, wait a minute, this isn't a body of work where I can just close my eyes and say, oh yeah, even though I don't see him as smart as Lomachenko, but he's beating such good fighters, he must be doing something right. I have to put him on my top 10 pound for pound. No, it didn't equate to me that way. And then I told the truth, and people don't like it. Okay, what are you going to do? I'm not running for a popularity contest. What are you going to do? I have a responsibility to say, with a background of experience and judgment, what I believe. And hopefully it's responsible. And I try to make it responsible. And for me, it was responsible to say, no. On that top 10, no. Rigon Diallo, that's a top 10 fighter, even though he's not active, I get it, and all that stuff. Lomachenko, Crawford, those kind of guys. And I even said I used to have them on my top 10, but everybody has to move out at some point. It comes time when the moving van comes and they say, hey, it's time to get your stuff and get out.
Right.
And I thought it was time for him to get out.
Thanks, Teddy. Thank you so much for your time.
You're welcome.
Sorry about all that.
You're welcome.
Real quick.